Welcome everyone to Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, an introduction or a taster. Thank you all so much for being here. I know a lot of people have registered and they're not quite here yet, and people that are going to hear this in the future, welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is so funny. I was like, wait a minute. This is an introduction, like free Zoom, whatever. And then I looked at the title we had picked and it was animals. So what's wealth got to do with it? I was like, oh my God, that's a really big topic. So, okay, let's see what shows up. Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider has to do with horses, AKA a horse is an animal. We picked animals. We can talk about horses, animals, whatever you guys would like. Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider is also a specialty class of Access Consciousness. And then just one quick thing, Fove, the little green square is still on your screen. I don't know if that means anything. Nothing good? Okay. So, Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider. Okay, and wealth. So when you think about wealth, and we'll just use horses as an example first. When you think about wealth and horses, what comes to mind? I know that first when I first started looking at that, wealth for many people you might think it has to do with money. And then horses, how many of you have horses on here? I mean, I can't see most of you because you have your cameras off, but I'm assuming not too many people. For a lot of people, horses equal a draining of money, and animals could equal a draining of money, or doing anything outside of what's required, what is necessary, how do I pay my rent, how do I take care of my kids, what does my family need? All of that stuff, you might have the point of view costs money or is going to take money away from you. Wealth has nothing to do with money. However, if you have wealth, if you choose wealth, money can come to you easily, since this is turning into a money class, apparently, with animals. So let's see, where do we start? We can like dive right into that, or we can kind of dive into Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, or we can dive into wealth and animals. So let's see, Jazz, did you have any questions that you wanted to start with? Or does anybody?
I really love where that was going. Like, usually for me, for example, like I remember my parents telling me when I was younger that we couldn't afford having a horse, that they were too expensive. Even having like lessons with horses, like that was what I grew up thinking about that.
Yep, me too. Oh my gosh. So how many people when you were younger, like you had all of these hopes and dreams, your parents did the best they could and you were allowed to do some things sometimes, and then the rest just happened in movies or in your fantasies, and then eventually they kind of disappeared. So when someone asked you, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? When you were like 6, what was it? And did you achieve that? Did it disappear? Are you still doing the things that you wanted to do as a kid? What else is possible now? So when I was younger, also, I was obsessed with animals, with horses, with basically being an animal. I used to make my mom put like milk in a dish and put it on the floor so that I could lick it. And that's how I wanted to eat all the time. And then I would make all of my brothers play animal with me, animals. We had to pick animals, and I'd turn all the lights off. And then we had to like crawl around as animals. And like, there was like bloody noses and all kinds of things. But we played in this fantasy world that included animals, and this fantasy world that you usually associate with more when you're a kid. And as you get older, that kind of has to go away. So what if when you start including wealth and you start including horses, you can start to have that reality back at any age. As an adult, as a baby, we've got baby Piper online too. She's so cute. Hi, Piper. Oh my God. She waved even. God, she's smart. So wealth has nothing really, it can include, actually wealth includes everything. It even includes all the ugly stuff, all the pretty stuff, all the good, bad, and ugly. So what does that even mean? Okay, so Liliana asked how our pets can contribute for us to make money. So one thing, so your pets and your horses and things can't exactly go out and like do a job that makes money for you. They can't go work at McDonald's. They can't like become president, even though I do know a cat that was the governor of a city in Alaska. He died, unfortunately, but who knows? That was it was a very calm city. Not much happened. They can't like go out and make money like you can. You have the pleasurable job of going out and working for your money. Your pets get to stay home or get trained or do their thing or go to doggy daycare, which costs money. But the more you focus on, so in one of the classes of Access Consciousness, there's a class called, what is it called? Something about wealth. I can't think of it right now. It was a wealth call. And Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, he brought up like the fact that a lot of people think they want money, but money is when you basically can only give you what you need. Money is when you are looking to take. Money is when you're looking just for what you need. Wealth is something completely different. Wealth is basically the ease, the joy, the presence, the gratitude for everything and everyone around you. So one thing that like your cat or your dog or your horse or your lizard, hamster, I loved hamsters. One thing that they can start to open up for you is, if you're willing to allow them, when you're present with your animals, you get to start to like open a door to a space of being. Is your cat ever worried? Is it like thinking about its rent? Is it like, where's my next can of food gonna come from? Or is it like, hey, hi? Is it just being it? Is it a presence? And what if it's inviting you to be a presence in that way too, with no points of view, no expectations, no projections. And we think we're basically taught that we have to, like our world is going to fall apart if we don't have all of these walls and like this focus and this force in place. Otherwise, how else are you going to know when to pay things, how much money you're going to need? The more you focus on that stuff, you also block out any extra that can come in. What if you didn't have to actually focus on that stuff, but you could expand beyond it, which is where cats and animals and dogs are. It's their space of being. And you could just allow all of that stuff to come in and more. So you can start to ask your animal, like one way, I do it a lot more with the earth in general. I don't have my dog around me anymore or my horse, or you can tap into even a dead animal, a living animal, the earth, dolphins, camels. Camels are great. You can tap into any animal or a tree, even like a favorite piece of furniture, anything, and you can just start to acknowledge it. So pick something in your room right now, and it could be an animal or a plant or your favorite pen. It does not matter what it is. What do you have gratitude for in your room right this moment? And when you start to open up, or if you can even pick something that you don't have gratitude for, that you haven't really like thought about even looking at, like your trash can. You could look at your trash can and be like, huh, okay, have I ever been grateful for you? Okay, what am I grateful for you about? What about you am I grateful for? Like, what shape is it? Who made the trash can? Where did it come from? What does it do for you? Do you take care of it? Do you even think about cleaning your trash can? Does your trash can want to be cleaned? Like all of these different things, just starting to open up the door of gratitude and presence with something like a trash can or your cat. There must be some cats on here because I keep saying cats. I don't even have a cat. Ruth's on here. I think she has cats. Opening up that door to the presence, gratitude, and allowance. Allowance is when you allow like a perceiving to come in. You're perceiving the trash can. I wish this was like a meditation. Perceive the trash can. We're gonna have to put it on a loop. Be the trash can. When you start to acknowledge anything, so you could go from your trash can or your cat to maybe a few other things in the room, and then the whole room, and include your body. And for me, when I do that, I'm like, goosebumps, and I don't even know. Molecules moving. I guess I haven't done that with this many people before. But you can tell, like, so does that energy, does that space of being when you just relax into perceiving these things and the gratitude you have for them, or even just the acknowledgement of these things if you haven't noticed them before, does that space feel different than thinking about, I don't have enough money, how am I going to pay the rent? I can't like go to this thing because, how am I going to afford Christmas presents? You can find a billion things to solidify and focus on. But how many times during your day do you actually just relax and open up that space? So Liliana's question about your pets, they are such an invitation for inviting you forward or back into that space of expansion and receiving, because they're basically walking, talking, receiving organisms on legs. Or if you have a fish, not legs, but yes. So there's kind of like the difference between like utilitarian and not receiving, and give and take, lack reality, and what wealth, the beginning of what wealth actually is. And then Yvonne said, her dad said if he wins the lotto one day, he would buy her a horse. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So I don't know, in America, the lottery has been insane. Like the lottery was like $1 billion, over $1 billion for a few weeks. And the whole country has been going berserk. And then one person won it in California and everyone's like, no. So now everyone's playing all of the different lotteries, like maybe I'll win this one. And everyone's kind of putting their life on hold until they win the lottery. Like they're okay with how their life is now. Like, it's okay. That's good enough for now. But if I won the lottery, oh my God. So what if you already have the lottery in your hands if you start to open up that space of receiving that we just went through? The troubling part about that is you can't figure it out. You can't plan it. It's never going to show up how you think it's going to. It doesn't make any sense to any business people or school or like whoever taught you about how life works. It doesn't match any of those rules. It's literally instantaneous gifting and receiving. The actualization part of it might take a little bit of time, or time is like the more you hang around horses, you're going to notice that time is not going to be the same. The more you hang around animals, plants, they don't function from time. They actually function from like a nourishing, creative space and actualization. So a plant isn't just like, now I'm a plant. It's like, no, I am a seed. And if someone or the wind finds me, then I will be in the ground, and then maybe it'll rain or someone will water me. And eventually, depending on how it likes to create itself, or how that in that moment, in that environment, then it starts to grow and blossom and bloom and create. So, or actualize. So when you ask for something, also just keep in mind that everything has its grand timing, just like a plant does, just like an animal does, babies. It's not just, I want this, now it's a plant. What if the key to having things show up faster, or having the wealth of living, is to actually be present with the journey to get there, the journey to get to the actualization of what you're asking for. So with the whole lottery thing, and when I have the money, then I can have something. You're putting your power outside of you when you think that. If you're waiting for that, what you can do is be like, okay, don't discount winning the lottery. You could just say, hey, universe, I'd like to win the lottery. I remember Gary saying on some call, he's like, you want to know how you win the lottery? I'll tell all of you right now. You walk up with your money, you hand the money to the cashier, and you say, can I have the winning numbers, please? And that's it. So I've tried that a few times, but every time I'm like, I notice I have projections, expectations. Oh my God, this person's too stupid to even allow the winning numbers to come through. Pock and pod. So Pock and pod is also the clearing statement. If for any new people on here, in Access Consciousness, we use the clearing statement, which is just this weird sentence of words that clears energies that are blocking you from receiving more. And the clearing statement is right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds. You can go to theclearingstatement.com to find out more about that, and then just play with it. I play with it all the time. So whenever if I go up to the counter person and I have these thoughts and these things that I already know are keeping me from receiving what I'm asking for, then I pock and pot it. So I haven't, apparently I have more pock and potting to do because I haven't gotten the winning numbers yet, but I'm not going to try, or I'm not going to not try. So don't discount winning the lottery. You can include it, but also while you're waiting for that, what if you could start creating and receiving what you would like if you had won the lottery? So if you would like a horse, what if you didn't have to buy it? What if you could just ask for it and receive it? Or if you would like a dog and you can't really afford a dog, or you don't live in a big enough house, or however many reasons you have for not being able to have a dog or a horse or a cat or whatever. What if you could start, what if you could ask a question? A question is always going to open up infinite possibilities for allowing what you're asking for to come in. My insignificant other, my boyfriend here, actually he's not here, he's in Houston, but so he was like, I want a dog. And I'm like, I had a dog and we travel a lot, and maybe it'd be just a lot easier if we didn't have a dog living with us all the time. But whatever. So we made a deal. If he buys me a house, then he can have a dog. So that's kind of like the lottery. So that's fun. It's just a fun game. But in the meantime, we started asking questions like, okay, we would like dogs. Liliana has 3 dogs. That's awesome. So we'll include them in this conversation. So we started asking questions. I was like, how could I actually, for anything that you love doing or that you just love, you can ask, okay, I would like more of that. And I would also like it to make me money. What do I just love being around? What do I love doing? Who do I love being around? And what would it take for it to make me money? So there are these apps in the United States. One is called wag.com and rover.com. And you can basically go on an app and look up people who babysit dogs, and you pay them and they watch your dog whenever you need. And so I was like, why don't you just sign up for rover.com and be a dog watcher? So now we get new dogs and cats all the time because people are paying us to watch their dogs. I'm like, oh, I like that. That's fun. And then when we aren't there, then we aren't taking care of a dog or having to find somewhere for the dog to go. So what is going to work for you? So if animals can contribute to you in so many ways. If you're looking for a horse, it's like, okay, what are the reasons maybe that you don't have a horse right now? And you can look at those, like, do you know where you're going to put the horse? How much money does it cost to have a horse, to buy a horse, then maintain all the stuff to keep it healthy and happy? Is that something that you would like to choose? Or is there a different possibility? Could you go volunteer somewhere where horses are? Could you just find horses and maybe hang out across the fence and say hello? You can actually, like before every single Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class, I expand out around the whole world and I ask all the horses on the planet, hey guys, what can I contribute to you? And what can I receive from you? Whoa. I ask them who's looking for this class, what people can you contribute to, what people would like to contribute to you, what horses are you connected to that can receive from the class we're about to have. And I don't know if you can notice a relaxation or like a energy right now, but just even doing that, we're literally tapping into thousands, hundreds of thousands of horses around the planet. And you can do that with anything. You can tap into horses, again, dolphins, anything, all the dogs on the planet. Holy cow, that's a fun, interesting energy. Wow. You can tap into all of the creatures on the planet, all of the spirits of the earth that are playing with the creatures on the planet. And you can just ask, hey, what can I contribute to you? What do I be? I've never considered. And what can I receive from you? I've never considered. That is where wealth comes from, not just the give take, like, ooh, if I get a horse, then I'm gonna have to give all my money away. It's like, oh, what if I already have the energy of all horses and I'm already contributing and receiving simultaneously with the energy of all horses? Which horses would like to actualize in my life based on what's going to work for me and what's going to work for them? When I asked, like a while ago, a few years ago, I was like, okay, I don't have enough money for a ranch, but I would love a ranch. Dear universe, however that looks like, whatever it takes, I would like a ranch with horses, please, where I can do whatever I want. And lo and behold, a little while later, one of my friends, we ended up having a Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class at this, I wouldn't call it a ranch, but it was like a ranch slash construction business slash, I don't know. It wasn't like fancy, but it was awesome. It had tons of horses. They needed so much help. And I was like, hello, I am here. So I just started going there a few days out of the week, learning how to train horses, learning how to take care of horses, learning how to put saddles on, learning how to deal with sick horses, deal with worming, like all these things that I never knew about. I started learning and playing, and I was so grateful that I got to see all of these aspects about horses that you don't usually get to see, because I just dove in and I was like, what do you need? I also got to help explore the death, like so many, not so many, but a few deaths with horses. We had to put down some baby horses, a bigger, older horse. And I was like, whoa, this is intense. Holy cow. What gratitude, presence, honoring can I be with this, even though if I didn't make it right, if I didn't make it wrong, what can I receive here and what can I contribute? And holy cow, has that changed my life also? So if you are even afraid, you might not even know you have these different points of view of why a horse isn't showing up in your life. Like, if you do get a horse, did you know that they eventually die? And you might have a point of view that you don't want to see that. So just look at it and be like, oh, have I actually explored all the points of view of what it requires to, like, for a horse to own me or an animal to own me? And if so, if you're willing to have the adventure of actually physically being with an animal or a horse and exploring that, maybe that is something you would like to do. What else is possible there? And what if none of it is wrong? You'll also pick up on other people's points of view about what's wrong, what's right. Oh my God, like horses, again, the horse world is so interesting with all of its points of view about what's good for a horse, what's bad for a horse. Same with dog things, what's good for a dog, what's bad for a dog. So if you would like more animals in your life and actually more money, more wealth, how many things have you decided are good or bad for your animals, or good or bad for making money, or good or bad for creating the life you would like? If you actually had all the things you're asking for, or that you wished you could choose, but you're not choosing, would any of that offend your family members, your extended family members, mom, dad, neighbors? Are you not choosing based on somebody else's point of view of what you can choose? So everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds. Again, that's the clearing statement. Oh. Ruth put in the UK, they have borrowmydoggy.com. I love that. Oh, so Liliana also said in Portugal, horses are only for rich people. So again, that's why I love Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider. It is not like, basically, you know how if you've ever taken an Access Consciousness class, and if you haven't, you can go to check out all kinds of free classes on YouTube, just like Google Access Consciousness or go to accessconsciousness.com, or you can go to my website, myacousticlife.com. All of these Access Consciousness classes give you tools to create your life, not facts on how to create your life. And so I'm pretty sure not just in Portugal, but every single country, horses are said to be only for the rich. Or a lot of times here too, like poor people have horses, but they're for work, and the people can't do anything else because the horses are eating up all their money kind of point of view. So both of those are just points of view. And both of those are going to keep you, if you don't really associate with one or the other, you don't really think you're super poor or like need a horse to carry things for you or do work for you, or if you don't have cows that you need a horse for, like maybe you wouldn't think you need a horse to work for you. Also, if you don't associate with being really rich, you may fall into the category of, oh, if you have the point of view, then horses are only for rich people. You're never going to have a horse come into your life because of that point of view. So all those points of view, will you destroy and uncreate them times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds. Again, what if you just asked? So a little bit of history. I also did not grow up with horses. We were too poor. I got to see horses on the road driving by. Hi, horses, look, there's a horse. I ended up, like, flash forward a long time, I'd been taking access classes, becoming a facilitator, facilitating classes. And then after a few years of that, I was like, I don't know if I'm bored or what's going on. So I just asked, I was like, okay, if I could have anything, because you literally can ask for anything. When you are, again, in that expanded space Or actually, I would choose to be in that expanded space when you ask, that your animals and your cats and the horses can show you. If you're having a hard day, go to the animals, go to the trees, be that space, and then ask. I was like, okay, what did I want to be as a kid? And I was like, or what did I like as a kid that I don't actually include in my life anymore? I was like, oh, something with horses. And I was like, horses, horses, horses. Okay, horses. Okay, what would it take to play with horses every day and get paid for it? I don't know how that's going to show up. I don't even know what that's going to look like. But here you go, universe, and sent it off. A few weeks later, I ended up meeting, I'm a massage therapist also. So a few weeks later, I ended up meeting someone at a restaurant, and she was like, hi. I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. And she was like, I'm a canine and equine massage therapist. I'm like, oh, I'm a massage therapist. Cool. I've been actually curious about equine massage therapy. Like, did you get a certificate? How'd you do that? So she's like, oh yeah, I got a certificate. We were in South Carolina. I live in Colorado. They're pretty far apart. She's like, oh yeah, I got a certificate in Colorado in this little town called Elizabeth. And it was like a week long, and then you have to do some practice stuff afterwards, but there you go. I was like, what? So I ran home. I flew home. I didn't run home. I was like, sweet. So I signed up for class and I became an equine massage therapist like the next week. That is including that. I was like, and then I acknowledged, oh, okay, I asked for that a couple of weeks ago. This just showed up. Wow. I just created something where I can hang out with horses and get paid. Okay, what else is possible? Then Access Consciousness was having a conscious horse, conscious rider certified facilitators training. And I was like, ooh, I think I'm a little late in the game for becoming a trainer or like a certified facilitator of horses, because my point of view was, don't you need to grow up with horses? Don't you need to have money? Don't you need to have a horse in order to know about horses? I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to ask anyway. So I took the training, and it turns out I know a lot about horses. How many of you know way more about horses, animals, receiving wealth, the wealth of consciousness on the planet than you've ever considered possible that you could be? So one of the other questions that I like to ask too, in regards to wealth, is, I have it on my phone. Where's my phone? It's right here. It is, oh my God, I have so many. How do you even see this stuff? A billion things happened in the last 30 minutes. Anyway, this is what it looks like, but it doesn't, behind that it says, what would it take, or what do I have to be today to increase the wealth of consciousness on the planet right away? So what if everything you do were to include the planet and all the creatures and all the plants and all the beings on it? You can again look at your dogs or your cat. Do they do, like, if you were to perceive a person, why do you think you like hanging out with animals better than people? I'm just assuming that for a lot of you on this call, if you're on here. So how inclusive are most people of everything and everyone? Or are most people like focused and thinking about themselves and worried and judging? Ah! Do plants and animals do that? No. What if you could be more like the plants and the animals? And what if every time you ask for anything from that space, you get to explore what receiving and what wealth and what relaxation and what total ease, joy, and glory is for you? And that's going to be really weird. I mean, it might be, only because most people, again, they're not They're not inviting that world into their world. They don't even know what that means. That feels like hell to a lot of people, like too much space and possibility. Ugh, gross. Like, I need some sort of problem so that I know what choice to make next. Okay. I need to have a problem to fix so that I know what to do all day today. Thank you very much. But what if, like horses, like cats, like dogs, what if you didn't have any problems? What if the universe was there to have your back all the time, just like you're there for your animals, or you can be there for all the animals on the planet if you don't have animals? What would happen if you started to allow that gifting and receiving of energy with you and everything? It includes your body, it includes your being, it can include your bank account, it can include whatever you want. Horses, traveling, money, partners. It can include getting rid of things, people, things you don't like anymore. That counts too. What can the earth show you about infinite possibilities without judgment? Jennifer said, I get really sad and become helpless with J's. I'm assuming that's judgment. Oh, and then she says, I see animal abuse, and she saw a little a little kid maybe hit her dog yesterday and froze, or a little kid hit her dog and she froze. A lady hit her dog and she knew she could be interesting point of view, but I want to control the energy rather than receive any help. That's always harder sometimes for us to be interesting point of view about. So animals will come to people for all kinds of different reasons. The universe gifts many things to people for depending on what they're asking for, and it does not judge what that person is asking for. So did you know that like even lack is something that the universe can gift you, which in people world, that might seem bad, except most people are asking for that. But you don't know that if you didn't ask for lack or be the energy of lack, then the universe wouldn't be giving it to you. So maybe that animal and that person, the person's actually has a point of view about control, maybe has a point of view about, or is healing something from their parents, or has something going on with them where they are functioning from that energy of abuse. And that animal is there to try to heal them or be space for them or give them what they're asking for so that they could eventually change it or not. Of course, it's going to be, everybody has choice. So when you see something like that, you just want to ask, okay, first lower your barriers, because when you see abuse, it's like, ah, you want it to change now. At least I do. I'm like, lower your barriers, expand out again to that space that the animals be, and the plants be, and the earth bees, and just ask, what can I contribute here? What is this? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how do I change it? And then if you get, no, you can't change it, then just ask, okay, well, what else is possible? What's it going to take to change this? And then see what shows up. You might get an awareness of maybe going to stop the abuse or something, but also ask if you're choosing based on judgment or based on there is an actual possibility to change something here. Or like, what if the possibility to change it is something else that you didn't expect? And then what energy can you be that is different than that energy? So you expanding out like we have been, you are actually affecting everything else that you are expanded out into. Nothing can stay the same when you are out there being you expanded space. So when you expand out around that like abuse, that stuck thing that you see, when you expand around it and you include it and you embrace it energetically, you actually start to melt and to change that thing. So even just being present with it and asking a question like, okay, what else is possible? Or just interesting point of view. Okay, what would it take to change this? Or what can I be? Just even acknowledging that you're just being expanded while being with that fixed abuse point of view, just that starts to melt and change it. Science even says anytime you look at a molecule, the molecule cannot stay the same when you're present with it. Same with situations, same with points of view. So anything that's not changing for you, you might want to just be with it for a while and just be with it and be with it and expand out and expand out and expand out, and then allow it to shift and change, and then choose something different. You could also ask, well, a lot of times, so working with the horses that I work with, like, again, in the horse world, there are 8 billion different points of view for doing the same thing. And every single person is right about how they do it, and you are always wrong. So that is, for me, I've had to have a lot of interesting point of view. And at the same time, because I'll hear points of view from two different people telling me, this is how you do it. Oh, this is how you do it. And I'm like, okay, I wonder how I do it. But all the things that were maybe considered like not good enough or wrong or animal abuse, I was like, is it really animal abuse? Or is there a different possibility? So I would just be with these different things and ask, okay, hey, future, what else is possible? And eventually, like, I think I've been playing with this place for 5 years, and the whole, like, the owner was able to buy the land so they could finally build like proper fences and like shelter for these horses, because the owners before were like, you can't build anything, no. So the horses they didn't really mind. They're just like free for all, like running around, biting each other. They're like, yeah, this is like the wild. But now, like, the horses that don't like to be around each other are actually have some space and some organization. And so this whole place has just started to change and get greater over the years. And I know that me being that space of what else is possible has changed that. One of my friends, when she was there when I first saw that place, and she was like, she jokes all the time. She's like, you really have a knack of seeing like possibilities like inside the middle of poop. I'm like, yeah. So she saw that place and she was like, gross, I'm never coming back here again. And to me, I was like, this is a wonderland. We can do everything here. This place is going to be amazing. Flash forward 5 years or so, and she's like, man, you were right. You really changed this. And now she loves coming there, and she comes there all the time. So what if the gift of interesting point of view was not, this is bad and wrong? What if it was, okay, this is what is right now. What is the gift in this? What's right about this? And what can I be to contribute to a greater future? What do I be and what can I be and choose to contribute to the wealth of consciousness on the planet or with this situation? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds. Wow. Cool. Jennifer said, thank you. I had to make a delivery. I had the energy of, oh, I'm going to get you and you're going to get caught. And then when she went to find her, she was gone. Awesome. So you might also get awarenesses of, yeah, what if you need to be the killing energy? Oh my God. In class, in the Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider classes, one of the things that people like, the weirdos like us, or like people that actually are kind, like hate being is the killing energy or the you're gonna die energy, unless it's like our family, of course, or our boyfriend or girlfriend. But it's like, okay, we have not been taught to be the energy of boom. We've been taught to be the energy of no, either victim or victimizer, basically. That's this reality. That's the give take reality. That's like, bleh. There is a way different possibility that horses, especially, I swear they came to the planet to show us this whole new universe of being and manipulating. There's a different way of being, and horses can show you that, and they will show you in the Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class of where you are at in regards to energy and what your energy is creating. So speaking of the killing energy or the, hey, let's move this energy. I don't like this. Maybe I can move it. A horse will not move unless you are being the energy of move, or unless it wants to move. But if you bring a horse out into the round pen and you're like, okay, you see like me go out there and do it and the horse is running around, and then you go out there and you're like, yeah. And then the horse, one of my friends, actually the same friend, she did this. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna make the horse move. And then the horse laid down on the ground, literally, just like laid down. I'm like, oh, wow, I've never seen that before. But the horses will like show you the energy you're being. And I was like, oh, so she was doing like a session. I was like, so does that remind you of anything in your life right now? And she's like, oh yes, my business. I was like, oh, that's cute. The horse laid down. Oh, so then we asked a question. Okay, so what energy would you actually have to be, not just think you're being, but be to get the horse to move? So I don't know if she like thought of being like a tiger, or she felt like she had to get angry, but sometimes angry is actually potency. And so in the class, you get to kind of see the difference between what that is, because one's going to move a horse and one's not. Or it's very funny. So anyway, she was like, okay, what energy do I have to be? And she got the horse to start moving, like slowly, but still, this is a pretty lazy horse. Still got the energy to start moving. So you get to, just like Jennifer, she's like, okay, what do I have to be here? And she was like, you're gonna get caught to this person. It's not like the person heard her say that or, knew what was going on, but they felt an energy, and you can be an energy that can shift and change things like that too. So she's like, oh, I'm gonna get caught. Okay, I'm gonna go. How does it get any easier than that? So again, with the horses, we do a bunch of exercises, or not a bunch, but a few exercises where you get to see what the energy you are being is creating with your business, with your family, with pulling a lover in, with getting rid of a lover, with having many lovers, with having 0 lovers. Oh God, whatever you want, you get to see what your energy is creating. And then you get to choose to change it and move it and be the power and potency you actually be when you choose to be. All right. I feel like I could go on forever. I think this was supposed to be only 45 minutes, but are there any questions so far about wealth and horses and animals and consciousness? And if not, I'm pretty sure everyone's brains are fried, but thank you all so much for being here. We're having Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class in Argentina in a few weeks. I'm so excited. I've never been to Argentina. I know I've had many lifetimes there, because even thinking about going there, I was like, oh God, okay, let's do it. But we have a beautiful venue. I am so excited, and I hope to see a lot of you there in person. If you are somewhere around the world and you can't make it, I hope to see you somewhere else around the world in person and to give you a big hug. We'll send out the dates of everything, and thank you again. I love you guys. Go be well. Thank you. Bye.